Hello, welcome to FX Pesting. Glad you can join me today. Here's a recap of my coyote number 7. I want to show how the journey began and my setup and everything. So it took a long time, but here it was. So one morning I show up at the farm to shoot some starlings and I saw this dead cow laying there in the back. So the farmer told me the cow got injured and then died overnight. And he also told me that the cow will be removed in a couple of days, so I figured I might as well set up my trail cam and see if I can capture some activity. And of course, at 3 in the morning, a coyote showed up, as you can see in the trail cam here. At first he was very nervous and reluctant to approach, and he kept his distance. Maybe he was intimidated by the size of the cow, or just wasn't sure that it was dead or not. And he decided to walk away for now. As you can see, farmers started daily chores at about 4:35 a.m. bright and early. So it's definitely exciting to see the coyote footages. And that's how I began my hunt for this coyote. 2 days later, the truck came to pick up the cow. Too bad for the coyote, he lost his big meal. And of course I missed the opportunity to film what could have been. So the coyote came back the same night at 9:53. Of course, the body had disappeared. He was definitely disappointed as he had lost a giant meal. A little too late for it. It smelled the scent, but nothing was there. However, it continued to hang around, keep coming back throughout the night. As you can see, something spooked it and it ran away. Came back again later on, still surveying the area, and of course nothing was there. An hour later it came back. So my trail cam TCO2 did a good job of capturing motion. Anyway, this coyote was very persistent and continued to come back, so my TCO2 gave me a lot of good data. 15 minutes later, still here. He must be desperate and hungry. Their natural instinct and cautiousness keep them alive, I guess. So this would be a challenge for me to hunt, as they are very evasive. 3 hours later, around 3 a.m., you can see here the moon was bright. It was just sniffing around, getting closer to the area, but unfortunately nothing was there for it to feed. Seems that they like to urinate the area to mark the territory. The next day, even the farmer's dog came to investigate. I guess she was picking up the coyote scents. She was trying to guard and protect her territory as well. So time to remove the trail cam and set up at a different location. So I set up this new spot here on May 28. The farmer told me the coyote has been digging this pit for food. So I figured I might as well try to set up here, and I used the pigeons and crow as bait. Of course the farmer's dog came to investigate as well. Luckily she left all the birds alone and didn't take any of them. So first sighting of coyote number 1 on May 31st at 3:41 a.m. So you notice this one has a longer tail. It urinated again by marking its territory. Unfortunately, it just looked around and left. You can see the farmer dumped more compost on top, so the baits were buried underneath. So the same coyote came back in the evening at about 11:35 p.m. You couldn't see any bait because it's all covered, but you can smell it. Of course, it started to dig to see if we can find the food. Of course, it looked around, so I guess it smelled the dead birds, and here it's just digging fiercely using its paw. That was how they unearthed buried dead calves in the past. They're using his nose to smell the decayed bodies and then get to them. Fortunately, the spider had found a home in my trail cam and then had all the nesting with the web. You can see he's always cautious and alert. Continues to dig. So interesting to see the behavior in the wild like this. I guess it didn't dig deep enough, it just gave up. So he came back the next evening at about 2:13 a.m. So it's great news for me to gather all this timeline as I'm trying to plan and be there at the right time. So knowing the time that they come in, it really helped me. Sounds easy and simple, right? Two nights later on June 3rd at 3 a.m., the same coyote showed up. This one has a long tail. As you should see, there are actually two coyotes in this area. So June 4th again, we came back. Still looking for food. Didn't find any food and then it left. So I came by in the morning and left some bait. And hopefully the coyote will return to feed. And I left more pigeons and doves shot in the morning. There should be plenty for the coyote to feed on. So the next morning, the farmer showed up and he noticed an eagle sitting on top of the barn there. So he threw one pigeon on top, and soon right after that, the eagle came soaring down and grabbed the pigeon. So that was very cool. And the farmer also helped me place some more bait in the area because I wasn't there all the time. June 6th at 1:28 a.m. I think I was there that night at a different spot. But anyway, I never saw it. It finally returned about 2.5 hours later. But again, something scared away. So I think definitely I have to check my timeline. I think I was there. This was the next morning on June 7 at 4 a.m. You can see the farmers already working in the back there. All the lights are up. And this coyote didn't care. He just came and took one of the birds and left. You can see there's a spider there that's living in my trail cam. He was back again 6 minutes later for a second pigeon. This coyote took the bird to the field and back to eat. So I saw a lot of feathers and stuff. Here, this came back again for a third pigeon. So it was definitely well fed this morning. It wasn't wasting any time at all. Came back for more. He grabbed one more bird and he left. Maybe he was taking it back to the den nearby. June 8th at 3:41 a.m. we came back again. So you notice they refused to take the crows and the starlings. All the doves and pigeons were gone already. So I guess they didn't like to eat this stuff. Anyway, you're always on the lookout for danger. I guess I have to leave more bait for them. Another night, June 10th, again around 3 a.m. Again, they didn't eat the crows and starling as well, so the next day I came by to retrieve the data. So definitely lots of valuable data to analyze and study. It came back again the following night. Fortunately, there was no food, so this night I was there. Unfortunately, I didn't spot it. As you can see, 2 hours later, went to look at the bait at 4:25. Yeah, it was another failed attempt to hunt. I was sitting in my car and I never saw it. The spider was really busy making webs. And of course, the coyote came by the next morning. So timing was everything. Try to figure out when it's going to show up and try to ambush it. And this hunt was definitely harder than I thought, but I'm going to keep on trying. 1 hour later on June 12th, another female to feed on. I'm not sure you can notice there, this guy actually had a damaged tail. I had to shoot more birds and leave them. So again, the farmer continued to help me leave some more bait there. Pigeons and starling I shot before. Here I'm retrieving and studying the footages again. So definitely lots of homework to do. Back on June 16 at 2:32 a.m. This was definitely a second coyote recorded. As you can see, it has a damaged tail. I never noticed it before until doing the editing. Because they look very similar, I always thought it's the same coyote. So I'm definitely excited to learn that there were two coyotes in the area. Farmer put more bait for the coyotes again. So coyote number 2 came on June 16 at 10:29 p.m. So definitely come a lot earlier. As you can see, it was urinating over the bait as well, marking the territory. Their way of marking the territory, I guess. Again, it left the crows and starlings. I returned once again to retrieve the data, saw a lot of footages, so I was excited, but at the same time kind of find a way to hunt them. On June 18, the coyote showed up. Again, more tired procedures, come and check the data. More baits. It was tough, the hunt was very tough, but I was very persistent, and I know I'm going to get it done. So June 20th at 1 a.m. This is the damaged tail. It's coyote number 2 again. Six minutes later, he came back for second bird. Continued to come back for more bird. It took one more bird. Before we left, it take a piss. You can see clearly the tail. This is where I noticed from the footage that there was actually 2 coyotes. Like I said, I didn't know until I had edited my coyote number 7 video. I'm guessing this was the female, judging by the way it urinated. June 20th, coyote number 1 came. You can see the long tail. So they come in different hours. And this guy actually took a dump right over the starlings. Nasty stuff. And I'm guessing this one was the male. There might be a pair that live in the area. An hour later, the damaged tail one showed up. So they must be hunting together, but then they never go to the same spot at the same time. So which is kind of weird. Again, she was urinating over the spot. So June 22nd I came and I retrieved the data and found all this useful information. The next morning, came again. Coyote 1 came for free food. And they like to stand on top of the concrete barrier and taking a piss. All the baits were gone, so it took off. An hour later, coyote number 2 showed up. So I guess they are taking turn patrolling the area. Like I said, they never show up here together. That's why I never knew there were 2 coyotes. So June 23rd, 2 days before the final hunt. So I had enough data and confident the coyote would come based on the timeline that they were showing up. Again, I got more birds for them to feed. And also I found a perfect spot to shoot from. June 24th, the night before the hunt. You can see coyote 2 showed up. That was the one with the damaged tail. 10 minutes later, came back again. So they both like to stand on top of the barrier. So just wondering which coyote would I encounter when I come back to set up. So watch on to find out. I dropped off some rats that I shot at another farm, and this was the day of the hunt. So I was going to come and set up. So here I was checking my 17-0 during the day, just using my side shot camera mounted on my impact. That's my FX Impact MK2 with the 600mm slug A-liner, shooting the H&N 25 grain Gen 2 slugs at 984 feet per second. So I'm shooting a smaller target here and point of impact confirmed. This is the same night I came back at 8:42 p.m. So now I got my PAR 007S night vision scope mounted on my element scope. Again, the distance to the target area was 17 yards from the barn window. You can see here lots of rats that are left there for bait. And I had my impact mounted on my tripod, so I was ready to go. So long hours of data gathering was about to pay off. So this was at 1 a.m., 1:09 a.m. I saw a movement. The coyote showed up, but my infrared battery was dead because I had left the battery on for too long. So I quickly replaced the battery, and fortunately the coyote was gone. So I thought I blew my only chance. So I was very discouraged, but I didn't want to give up. Here we go. Don't blink because this happens so fast. The slug penetrated through the back of the skull, and it was a perfect kill shot. This was the coyote number 1 with the long tail. I'm finally able to exhale and breathe again. I can't believe it finally happened. So all my hard work and endless hours of preparation have paid off. The coyote never made a chance to eat any of the rats. Here I'm zooming in with my zoom to get a closer look. Yeah, it was dead alright. Didn't stand a chance. You can watch the full video in coyote number 7 of the whole hunt. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I see you on the next one. Cheers.